Yeah, and talking about timing, Zach, he touched on the market, and then the other thing that has really come to help you guys is the fact that the SEC has changed their rules. So now you can solicit and you can raise money by talking to the public about this. And people that can also, the other big aspect is the fact that you can now accept investment from non-accredited investors. So can you touch on that in terms of you're trying to raise money? What are you trying to do, and what methods are you using?
Gotcha. So the like Tim said, the regulatory landscape has really shifted in the favor of the common person. Still got a long way to go, but the SEC did release back in, I want to say, 2019. They call it Title III regulations, which are Regulation CF, which stands for crowdfunding, Regulation A+, which allows for you to distribute securities to non-accredited investors, and it doesn't necessarily have a cap limit on it. I believe the cap is like 17 or $20 million a year, something like that. Some down in the weeds.
But either way, it's really it's allowed us to be honest. It's kind of a beautiful thing, just because especially as we're a Black-owned company. With Regulation CF, it allows us to kind of take the raise into our own hands. So right now we do have our WeFunder campaign that's up. So like, if for anyone who's a non-accredited investor, if they're interested in investing in Pocket Properties, they could go to our WeFunder campaign, learn some more information and decide, if they want to invest for as little as $100 through that platform. Whereas traditionally, with these SEC regulations, that was not something that was available to non-accredited investors. It was just not a thing. It made raising a lot more difficult.
So it's still confusing. So where is the issue with the accredited investor in a house? Is it because there's multiple people investing in this property, and that's where the accredited investor had to come in, and now they don't have to?
Right. So the traditional issue it's more a lot of bureaucracy.
Sure.
That's really what it came down to, is they would consider, non-accredited, someone who makes less than $200,000, unsophisticated person, and therefore are high risk, and shouldn't be afforded the ability to invest. So it's a lot of bureaucracy when it comes to that accredited investor screening, simply for the fact that there's loopholes around it if you really want to try to get around it. As a non-accredited investor. So it's just one of those barriers that's used to keep the commoners out.
Interesting. So who hates you in this world? Not personally, but who is going to hate this idea, type of thing, right?
So we're anticipating we're going to get a lot of pushback from the standard real estate investor. Mm-hmm. A lot of pushback from REITs, because that rich person now is competing against 1,000. Exactly. So if you look at how Robinhood has the whole retail trader debacle that they had, where everybody was all on all the stock channels all
GameStop.
Is that the Reddit thing?
Yeah, about the Reddit thing, because some kids were coming in and messing up the institution a little bit. We're anticipating a very similar thing.
Just because it's not
some of the giants in the industry. I mean, there's a lot of people who own properties who run REITs. You got Blackstone, Redwood Trust, some of those really massive companies that aren't necessarily putting out a great product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think,
but
you get a pool,
for lack of a better word,
you get a pool of people together and they all want to invest, and next thing you know, you have a group of your closest friends buying city blocks, and who knows what you're going to turn the neighborhood into. I say that jokingly. However, I think that's one of the long-term benefits that you all have in terms of urban revitalization. You have an area that needs to be revitalized, and then that's a great investment opportunity for thousands of people, as opposed to the one or two developers, how it's been done in years past.
Exactly. And to kind of piggyback off what Zach was saying, we are expecting pushback from those from the larger, more institutional investors. But I mean,
Haters gonna hate.
down the road, to be honest with you, I think what it's going to do, though, I mean, more inclusion in the markets, all it leads to is more appreciation on the actual assets and commodities. If we look at, I mean, since Robinhood, since the development of Robinhood, I mean, all that's done is been good for stock prices. So, I mean, you know, the older investors can complain as much as they want to. The institutional investor, because I'm more of a, you know, a traditional investor myself. Stan's the crypto guy, but the proof is going to be in the pudding. And you can't necessarily deny this kind of tidal wave that's coming of decentralization.
Is there a crypto avenue of it? Is there a crypto piece to this?
So yeah, so we do have a blockchain piece. Now the reason that we do that is we're big fans of the smart contract abilities of a lot of these chains. So there is a blockchain component that does run the back end.
But it's not like an engine that's running off of some sort of.
You're not mining anything. You're just keeping a ledger of the property transactions.
Yeah.
Which is the best piece about a blockchain piece.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's one thing, you know, a lot of people have complained, and, you know, we've all seen it, of companies that are not transparent, especially with this Robinhood thing coming up.
I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, like right now, I mean, just the whole short selling of stocks, to me, I think is un-American. Why you would want to bet on a company to fail.
Right.
You know, whereas if you know, but with you guys keeping a ledger of all the property transactions, now, you know, that's permanent record. Whereas, and it's full transparency. So I think it's a great thing for the real estate side.
I've been directly involved within our entrepreneurial community for years. And the most common question I get is, Tim, I want to get involved, but I don't know what events I should attend. Well, Startwheel eliminates that pain point because we consolidate all the events you should attend into a single calendar. Now you'll be in the know and see where to spend your time. Gone is the need to search multiple websites and calendars. Just head to startwheel.org and see for yourself. That's startwheel.org.